Welcome to the show today, guys. I love it. We're moving forward in the right direction, and it is making things happen. I love it. Trump and Johnson are now working on the huge economic boom that is about to start, and it's taking care of our seniors. It's making sure to take care of the majority of taxpayers in America with the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, and then eventually no taxes on anyone making under $150,000 a year or less. So we've got the inside scoop now. Now that we've got the CR bill that's passed, we're moving on to the budget reconciliation bill, which is where they go through, they pull back all of Biden's crazy spending, and then they input all the DOGE cuts, and then they put in all the tax cuts, and then they make sure that we are putting America first in all of our endeavors. And what's amazing is that we only need a simple majority, 51 votes in the Senate, and then the majority in the House in order to pass this all, which is amazing because, again, too, with the CR bill, we needed 60, which is why the Democrats had to get involved. But with this budget reconciliation, we don't need their help at all, and Trump can get his agenda done as fast as possible. But I do want to let you know, guys, we still got some rhinos in Congress, big time. Rand Paul came out and tried to actually put the DOGE cuts as an official law in the system, and 27 Republicans voted against it. Now, Rand Paul was trying to make sure that we cut all the foreign aid that the DOGE cuts have found that was illegitimate, like all the money to drag shows in Ecuador, all the money to, things across in Iran, Iraq, all these things that we found that we want to cut. Rand Paul tried to make it a law, but yet 26 Republicans voted with Democrats to keep the foreign funding at the Biden levels. And yes, I have all the names, guys. These are a bunch of rhinos, and I hope that these people get primaried because that is not an America First agenda. We also are hearing more rhetoric from the Democrats' side on the types of inciting violent type of talk, saying that Trump is trying to push, which is completely false. They even said they are even doubling down now, saying that Trump is really asking for a civil war. He's trying to ask for a World War III in the world with everything that he's doing. And it's hilarious because Russia and Ukraine are in peace talks, and the only type of war we're talking about is a tariff war, which has to do with the money, not really people, and fighting and things like that. So again, they're just sweeping lies, guys. They've got nothing else to say. We do have really good news, though. An appeals court lifted a block on President Donald Trump's executive orders ending federal support for the diversity, equity, inclusion programs, the DEI. Remember, Trump said we're going to cut it out of the government completely? We had a lower federal court that came in. A federal judge said, hey, you can't do that. They took it to the appeals court, and Donald Trump won. Let's go. And thankfully, guys, this is amazing news because remember, peace through strength. Trump took out a fugitive leader in ISIS in Iraq, making sure that everyone knows, don't mess with us. Because if you do, FAFO. We got a ton of breaking news today, guys. I want to say thank you so much for your support to all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Let us take care of you every day with the top news. And thank you to all of our members of the channel. Guys, y'all are the best. If you want to be a member of the True Life News family, the link is in the description. And also, the link is in the description to our store selling our True Life News limited edition t-shirts, guys. These things are awesome. For some reason, there was a issue with our store, so I can't even put the products on the video. I got to figure that out with Google, but regardless, you can still go to the link to our website and buy the purchase. Remember, members get 15% off. And want to thank everybody who's given a super chat donation, guys. Y'all are so amazing. We appreciate your support so much. But we got a ton of breaking news to get into today, guys, because I'm ready to see Americans taken care of with our own dang money when it comes to the government. Check this out.
Speaker Gingrich, one big beautiful bill. It seems so easy, so simple, so beautiful, and yet it seems a little distant. What's going on?
Well, look, I think there's difference in the House and the Senate. Speaker Mike Johnson's been very clear all along that he's for one big, beautiful bill. And he understands, from the standpoint of the House, that they have to get the tax cuts through by May or June in order to have the kind of economy that we need next year if we're going to keep control of the House.
Right.
So Speaker Johnson understands exactly what his job is, and he and President Trump are shoulder to shoulder. The Senate, for reasons I don't understand, but I never served in the Senate, I was a creature of the House. The Senate seems to want to do two bills, and the danger of that is because they're not going to do the tax bill first. I don't see, in terms of schedule, how they could possibly get two significant bills through by May or June. So the danger of the Senate approach would be that you'd end up not getting a bill till, say, October, which is what happened to Trump last time. And that meant the economy didn't grow, and that meant we lost 42 seats in the 2018 election. So there's a lot at stake here. Now, what's encouraging is that they have proven with the continuing resolution that they can pass something in the House with no Democratic help. Yeah, I got one Democrat, I should say.
Right.
The Democrats were 213 to 1 against. They could then set it up so that they can pass it in the Senate. And since they're talking about reconciliation, it only takes 50 votes plus the vice president. So I think we just had proof this week that this strategy could work. I think it should work. And I think if you want to keep a Republican House, it is vital that the economy be booming next year, that people feel that President Trump is succeeding and that they want to reinforce him. They don't want to desert him. That's the key to the off-year election.
Guys, if you appreciate this, guys, look at this. Trump calls on Congress to prioritize the tax cuts. We're talking about taking care of our seniors, our people that are busting their butt, waitressing, people who are doing overtime. If you appreciate this, guys, hit the thumbs up like button. Thank you so much for doing that and supporting our channel.
And to your point, I didn't think that Mitch McConnell and President Trump during that first term are always on the same page together. Like, for instance, that last package that went out to people went out after the election. You know, the last stimulus package, and that, to me, I think if they would have gotten that through the Senate before the election, I think Trump would have won that election. And there's so many lessons. Of course, we know the shellacking that both parties have been taking in midterm elections. I just don't understand, to your point, the calculus on not trying to make this happen or allowing it not to happen.
Well, look, to his credit, the new majority leader, John Thune, has worked very closely with Speaker Johnson and President Trump. And it was the team of the three of them that just got this particular continuing resolution through. With the Democrats had no impact on it. It's the most clearly Republican resolution, certainly in the last 20 years. And I think the fact that John Thune was able to work as part of a team it really says a lot, because you're right. In the President Trump's first term, he had a much difficult relationship with the Senate and the House, for that matter. Yeah. And now things seem to be, we're actually seeing a team being formed in a way that's very encouraging.
Yes. And the voters want to see that, I think. I want to switch gears a little bit to something that you've also been sort of critical on, and this is the messaging. This morning we got the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report. It was abysmal. And one part of that blew me away was people who've heard bad news about the programs, the government programs, DOGE and all this. We've never seen this kind of spike before. It's the greatest spike in the history of this thing going back a couple of decades. So the other side has done this effective fear-mongering, if you will. What's going on with Republicans? What should they be doing, particularly when it comes to the budget? Because you're not happy with the way they're messaging it, are you?
Well, no, I think, first of all, they have to get better at communicating what they're trying to accomplish. But the fact is, we just had a poll come in. We run a project called the America's New Majority Project. And we just had a poll come in last week. 81% of the American people believe that the government is corrupt. Now, if you have 8 out of every 10 people believing that the Washington bureaucracy is corrupt, I think it's pretty dangerous for the Democrats to decide they're going to bet on being the pro-bureaucracy, pro-waste and fraud party. And I think in that sense, in the long run, things will work out. you know, the fact is Elon Musk is a genius, but he's not necessarily a great communicator, and they're going to have to work it through. On the other hand, President Trump is an extraordinary communicator, and I'm pretty confident by the time we get to the summer, people are going to feel pretty good that what we're doing is the right thing.
Right.
But we're not going to get any help from the elite media, and we just have to recognize that. If we're going to win, it's because we're going to communicate intensely through our own systems and get to the American people with the facts of what are going on.
Newt Gingrich, thank you very much.
Guys, and that's what it's all about, guys. It's putting the tax cuts first, putting Americans first, making sure that our people are taken care of. Like, guys, this video is going viral everywhere because this is exactly what is putting America first. This is our Secretary of Commerce. He knows everything. Everybody that's on the inside, we're trying to feed the beast, which is America, which is the agenda, so that way we can get more momentum behind it, and especially when it comes to winning the midterms. Listen to this.
How about no tax on tips? How about no tax on overtime? How about no Social Security? How about all those things? These are the kind of thoughts that will change America. I know what his goal is. No tax for anybody who makes less than $150,000 a year. That's his goal. And that's what I'm working for.
You hear that? No tax on Social Security, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on anybody making under $150,000 a year. When have you ever heard the Democrats ever say that? Because what you're about to see next, guys, I'm telling you, if they tried everything, the news was behind them. What you're about to see, guys, is a little flashback, and it's insane to think this was actually on the mainstream media. And guys, I just want to say, if you appreciate Trump, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, this is what matters so much when it comes to our America First agenda. Listen to this.
Donald Trump is going to prison.
You can't bully the feds themselves. He's going to have to plea, or I'm predicting he's going to get charged and very likely will spend time in jail.
He could end up in prison.
It doesn't look very good for Donald Trump.
Okay, well, that didn't work out well. 1 year ago, they tried to take away his freedom. But earlier today, President Trump walked through the doors of the DOJ headquarters in Washington, laying down his vision to restore law and order and vowing to end the weaponization of government once and for all.
We're turning the page on 4 long years of corruption, weaponization, and surrender to violent criminals, and we're restoring fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law. The DOJ and the FBI will once again become the premier crime-fighting agencies on the face of the earth. I promised my wife I would never use a bad word, so just a little bad. The case against me was bullshit.
Dang.
And she correctly dismissed it.
President Trump also vowing to crack down on violent criminals and the liberal prosecutors who enabled them.
I have no higher mission as President of the United States than to end this killing and stop this law-breaking and to making America safe again. Instead of having Marxist prosecutors who want to put police officers in handcuffs and go after a police officer rather than a criminal, I appointed patriotic, tough-on-crime warriors who will partner with police to put dangerous offenders behind bars, put them in jail.
You know, Charlie, before I get into the substance of this, think about what it was like and how many people tried to prevent former President Donald Trump to become president again and, you know, to put him in jail to make sure that he would never be around again.
And of course, we're seeing why, because Democrats have completely run out of any viable issue that connects with voters, and even within the Republican Party. And when, they wanted to keep him from taking over that leadership. And it goes back to 2015, when Donald Trump first launched his presidential campaign. And at the highest levels of the Obama administration, they made the decision to spy on Donald Trump and his campaign. Boom. And from their perspective, it worked because they maintained that throughout the entire first term. The political press, the media in Washington, focused entirely on the proceeds of that spying on his campaign, done, again, at the highest level of the Obama administration. And it defined his first term. And then, of course, it got him out of the White House by 2020. He was impeached twice on idiotic, fake, made-up things. And then why wouldn't they keep pursuing it? It worked for them. And so then they spent the next 4 years pursuing the exact same strategy. And in the end, it obviously, because he is the tough guy that he is, he managed to come out. He managed to beat them, and they are left with absolutely nothing except crying because he walked down to DOJ and gave a speech to them.
The truth is, Katie, that the president indicated that he was going to end the weaponization and the politicization of the Department of Justice. But is that enough? Because as Charlie just referenced, and Jim Comey signing unverified affidavits, going before the FISA court, going again, re-upping his spying on does there have to be more consequence?
I would argue that the weaponization went back to 2010 during the Tea Party movement, when the IRS and Department of Justice worked together to go after conservative grassroots activists with the power of the Justice Department and the federal government under Barack Obama. They got away with it. There's no accountability. So then they moved into 2015 and did even more illegal activity and spying against the Trump campaign, moved that through his first presidency. And there's a big difference, to answer your question, between retaliation, weaponization, and accountability. And when he goes to DOJ today and talks about how he's getting out these prosecutors who engaged in this behavior, is because he doesn't want this to continue on. They're holding people accountable for what happened, because this is such a stain on the American system of justice. We should be the crown jewel of the entire world in terms of fairness. That's why we're different than the rest of the world. We're not supposed to have kangaroo courts or banana republic style justice. We're supposed to have real justice. And that was completely destroyed over the course of the past 4 years under Biden and during the Obama administration. So accountability is a very different thing. One thing I also love that he said was that he's back in Washington now, and he wants the capital of America to be clean and safe. It belongs to all Americans, and I don't think that we should discredit how much that actually means in terms of the pride of the country.
Greg, I'm glad he made it personal, because nobody, of course, has been faced with the kind of targeted, vicious, unjustified prosecutions that the Democrats engaged in.
I am so disgusted by what Harold said. This isn't about winning, Harold. It's about imprinting the memory of this event on history. Because as we know, history is always rewritten by the losers. The history. If you think media is fake, what do you think about the people? Where do you think the historians came from? They came from media. So we have to. No one else is going to do this. He has to do it. We have to do it. What you don't hear right now, what's that silence? It's all the people in the media who tried to take him out. They aren't saying, oh, we were wrong. Oh, whoopsie daisy, Biden has dementia. They aren't doing that. So we have to. They've disappeared. They've gone away. How is this not a fable for the ages, an inspirational lesson to everyone who has felt targeted in their lives, who felt outgunned and outnumbered? If this were a Democrat, there would already be 12 movies made about this man, the most consequential political triumph in American history. And Hollywood and media are staying home in their pajamas, weeping into their Funyuns. And so that's why we have to do this. It's not gloating. It's a reminder that this third act of this Trump movie cannot be forgotten. If there was justice, we should be able to parade every hack on TV, from the Morning Joes to the Daily Show guy on camera, and they literally, I don't mean metaphorically, they have to eat their words. We actually take their words verbatim and bake cookies. And we write their words on the cookies, and then they have to sit down. It's not even pay-per-view, it's free. And we just force them to eat their words, every single word.
But what if they like their cookies?
Yeah, I thought you were
Well, that might happen with Stelter.
but why not reform the Justice Department for everybody?
Well, okay.
Guys, let me tell you this. Again, we've got so much insight that you're about to hear, guys, from the very people that are the advisors to Trump. This is amazing. Look at this, what just came out this morning. Yesterday, guys. AG Pam Bondi claims that FBI Director Kash Patel will be giving her a deadline for when he can go through the Epstein files, and says FBI will release as much as they can as soon as they can. Because, guys, I'm telling you, if we don't keep the weight on these issues, they're going to go away. People will say, well, what about this and what about that? But what I love is that there's people that are coming out on every single side of Trump winning against all this lawfare. And it's not just anybody. It's literally the people that are his advisors in the White House, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, thank you so much. Check this out.
Today, your team actually not only won, but it was amazing to see them there at the podium talking. Give us your thoughts, particularly some of the dark days of 21, 22, and early 23, sir.
Hey, and you know what? Some in 24 too, Stephen. But don't forget, we had a trial in 2024. The fake news, absolute witch hunt of a trial in New York, which President Trump and the team had to persevere through. It was an honor to be there. President Trump with an absolute powerhouse speech, crushing weaponization, crushing lawfare, and ringing in what is a new day in law enforcement and the American system of justice. It was great to see Todd Blanche, Emma Bove, of course, the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi. It's a big day, and it's another moment for us to look back and see how far President Trump has brought this country in just a short 50-plus days.
Boris, Julie Kelly brings up today that a year ago you guys were down in front of Judge Cannon on the documents case, actually in court. If you had pitched this, particularly because you had to put together a great team, but kind of a makeup team because all the big law firms shut us out. If you had pitched this to a Hollywood producer that, hey, here's the story, and at the end, they're all going to be at the Justice Department, running the Justice Department, and Trump's going to walk in triumphant, you would have got thrown out of the room. What are your thoughts on the arc of this journey?
You know, I believe that in the end, President Trump has had faith in God behind him. Mm-hmm. I think the American people see what it is to have a real leader. And that's why, as you know, Steve, from that moment that I called into this show on January 20th, 2021, from Joint Base Andrews when President Trump took off for Florida, I told you then that I was confident that President Trump would be back in the Oval Office. I was confident that the bad forces in America would be defeated. I've stayed confident throughout. I'm so proud of the team that President Trump has led, that defeated lawfare, defeated the greatest weaponization of justice in not just America, but world history. There's never been a lawfare campaign such as the one that Todd Blanche, Emma Bove, and so many more lawyers defeated and working together under the leadership of President Donald J. Trump. As you said, Hollywood wouldn't believe it, but we did throughout. And again, it is a moment of pride, it is a moment of honor, and most importantly, it's a moment of patriotism.
Last thing, President Trump today also, I think, energized everybody by saying, hey, he's not going to rest until all of this is set right. That it's not about him, but he's going to make sure with the work that team does at Justice, at Main Justice, and the U.S. attorneys and all of it, and with confirmation of a new set of judges, that he's going to set things right, and this will never be allowed to happen again, no matter the political beliefs or persuasions of any president or his administration. This will never be allowed to happen again. Am I correct in that, sir?
No doubt about it. America is back. The American justice system is back. American democracy is back, and all because of the overwhelming victory, the huge mandate given to President Trump by the American people. We've rescued our country, and let's be honest, from the absolute edge of a cliff, because that's where the radical lunatics and Democrats were driving it. President Trump is now in full control. You're seeing everything he's doing on every single part of the spectrum, from the economy to foreign relations, national security, ending wars, and again, ending weaponization and lawfare. Success unlike anything this country's ever seen, and that's why everybody is energized, everybody's optimistic. Even the Democrats can't deny the power, can't deny the strength. You know, it was an honor for me to be there today and to be a small part of the team.
Now, since you're such a big shot, I haven't had enough opportunity to say you're coming in hot on social media. What's your social media, Boris?
Guys, y'all hear that? Guys, this is literally senior advisor to President Trump. They are cleaning house so much, guys, that even this morning, guys, 8 a.m., I don't even know if it's Central Time or whatever, but literally, Trump signs executive order to cut size of 7 agencies, including the one that oversees Voice of America. It doesn't matter what it is. He knows that there's fraud, waste, and abuse in every single one of these agencies. These are the agencies, guys. Please excuse these always ads. They're just crazy ads sometimes. But we've got the Voice of America, which is called the U.S. Agency for Global Media. The other agencies include Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service. Don't even know what that is. Institute of Museum and Library Services, the Minority Business Development Agency. And those are just the ones that they give. But he is trying to cut every single department. We know that there's fraud, waste, and abuse in everything. And we know that if we don't cut it down now, we may never get the chance to do it again. Because as soon, guys, let me show you this. The left wing, the media that's operating on the left wing, somebody posted this from a study back in 2023. Left-wing extremism linked to psychopathy. Is that how you say that? Psychopathy? And narcissism. Like, this is what we're dealing with. This was a study, the New York Post, and it's like making its ways back in X. But the people that we're dealing with that are on the progressive side, the AOCs of the world, the Pramila Jayapal, all those, it's all about them. It's all about trying to preserve everything that they're trying to do, and it's not about the American people, and that's what we clearly see why we were in such a mess where they're giving all of our taxpayer dollars overseas. But it's Trump's Justice Department now. They're cleaning house, and they're making sure that we put things in place so that it never happens again. Check this out.
Show I'm going to find out who it is. Today, Donald Trump delivered a speech that's only happened a few times in history, but not like this. A president who was prosecuted by the Department of Justice is now in their headquarters telling them law and order is back. And when the man who tried to put Trump in jail, Attorney General Merrick Garland, left the building for the last time, remember this? He was treated like a hero.
What a joke.
You better cover your eyes and your ears. Today, Donald Trump walked down that hallway with Garland's replacement.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Oh, wow. You're such a nice person. That's a rough picture. That's a rough picture.
Guys, if you appreciate the transition from Garland to Pam Bondi, and I know we haven't seen a lot from Pam Bondi, guys, but let's give her a couple more weeks. If you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support.
All right, this is the same building where Garland told the country he signed off on raiding Trump's home.
That search was of premises located in Florida belonging to the former president. I personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant in this matter.
Today, Trump was behind that podium. This time, he had the hero's welcome.
It's a true honor to be with you today. This is a storied hall, if there ever was one. And based on the crowd, I think we broke the all-time record. But as we begin a proud new chapter in the chronicles of American justice, this really is something. We're turning the page on 4 long years of corruption, weaponization, and surrender to violent criminals, and we're restoring fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law.
Yes, you are, and you're doing it already. The Department of Justice has spent just too much time focusing on one man.
Unfortunately, in recent years, a corrupt group of hacks and radicals within the ranks of the American government obliterated the trust and goodwill built up over generations. They spied on my campaign, launched one hoax and disinformation operation after another, broke the law on a colossal scale, persecuted my family, staff, and supporters, raided my home, Mar-a-Lago, and did everything within their power to prevent me from becoming the president of the United States. They tried to turn America into a corrupt, communist, and third world country.
Yeah, they did.
But in the end, the thugs failed and the truth won.
That is true. Everything he said, 100% correct. And he just might be holding a grudge.
I promised my wife I would never use a bad word, so just a little bad. The case against me was bull. And she correctly dismissed it.
And you could say that's plural, too, the cases. Every charge against Trump was flimsy. And if he didn't run a second time, none of this would have happened. Today, in an exclusive with Brooks Singman at the helm, Fox News Digital is reporting this. The Biden White House turned over Trump and Pence's government cell phones to the FBI in 2022. The FBI didn't even need a warrant, but every Democrat had the same excuse for trying to arrest their political opponent.
This is America. No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
The fact is, no one is above the law.
No one, not even the president, is above the law.
No one is above the law.
What happened to those people? But under Joe Biden, everyone was above the law, unless you were a Republican.
They set loose violent criminals while targeting patriotic parents at school board meetings. They dropped charges against Antifa and Hamas supporters while labeling traditional Catholics as domestic terrorists. They imported illegal alien murderers, drug dealers, and child predators from all over the world to come into our country while putting elderly Christians and pro-life activists on trial for singing hymns and for saying prayers. They went to jail for that. Our predecessors turned this Department of Justice into the Department of Injustice. But I stand before you today to declare that those days are over, and they are never going to come back. They're never coming back.
So now the president's unleashing the crime fighters to do what they do best, catching bad guys.
And in just 2.5 short weeks, we have arrested over 300 violent felonies, gang members, including MS-13 and 18 gangsters. We have taken seizure of hundreds of pounds of narcotics in Massachusetts alone in the last couple of weeks. They have indicted federally over 50 violent gang members and narco traffickers, seizing almost 200 kilograms of fentanyl.
That is called a strong start. Cartels have been running wild in this country for years, smuggling drugs, guns, and migrants. Their gangs killed innocent Americans. You know this. And the days of being scared are over, though. It's time for the cartels to begin to panic.
President Trump has secured our borders and will continue to fight the cartels throughout this country, deport them all, or lock them up. Under the last administration, cartels, criminals, they freely walked in and out of our country with impunity. No longer. Under Donald Trump, they live in fear, and they better live in fear because we're coming after all of them.
And I believe her, too. These are the bad hombres Trump warned us about.
These are stone cold killers. These are killers they make our killers look nice by comparison. They make our killers look nice. These are rough, tough people with the tattoos all over their face. Historically speaking, I don't want to discriminate against anybody, but historically speaking, they're not going to be the head of any major bank that we know of.
That's true. What's scarier than face tattoos and cartels is what they bring into our country. How about fentanyl?
This 1 kilo can kill 500,000 people. The 180 there in pure form could kill 90 million people.
Wow.
That is the population of California, Texas, and Florida. That's what we're dealing with in our country. That's why angel moms go around the country. That's why Donald Trump has taken such a hard stance against cartels, securing our borders, getting these gangs and drugs out of our country. But look at that. That can kill 3 states in its pure form. That should terrify everyone.
And it does. This is going to be a tough job that requires every facet of the government to be in sync for a change. You're talking about federal, state, and local police be working around the clock to protect us. While the cops have our back, Trump has theirs.
On day one, I signed an executive order directing Attorney General to ensure that anyone who murders a police officer immediately, with as fast a trial as we can have, gets the death penalty.
Yep, this is a new era for the Department of Justice. We have a pro-cop president and a country and a police force that's finally allowed to enforce the law for the first time in years. That against violent criminals, gangbangers, not political opponents. Former U.S. Attorney Brett Tolman joins us now.
Guys, let me tell you this. What I love is that as this is happening, remember, this is all about making America safe. This is all about putting America first. While all this is happening, the leadership in the Senate, the leadership on the Democratic side for the Senate, they're losing it. Listen to this, guys, because we've never seen, and that I know of, I can't even go back and find videos of the implosion that's happening within the Democratic Party. Here's a short snippet, but this is hilarious because they're finally turning on themselves because they have no foundation. Listen to this.
Is it time for new leadership in the Senate?
Next question.
Have you lost confidence in him, the fact that you guys see this so differently?
Next question.
Mr. Leader, why were you afraid to say anything about Schumer when you were asked?
No. Do not characterize.
No, my question was, why are you afraid to say anything?
Do not characterize my remarks. I'm not afraid about anything. Anything.
You went to another question.
Anything.
And now there's talk of AOC running a primary challenge against Schumer.
I think there is a deep sense of outrage and betrayal. And this is not just about progressive Democrats. This is across the board, the entire party. It is a huge slap in the face.
Y'all hear that, guys? All of them, they're making all these comments now. Hakeem Jeffries is too scared to say anything. They're saying that AOC is going to be the new Nancy Pelosi to come out and kind of like start getting things done. But guys, what I want to show you next, guys, because I love bringing some great good news, is that something that they've been working on that a lot of people are starting to get behind, that they should have done a really long time ago. And that is having to do with just the everyday taxes that we pay, our property taxes. I don't know about y'all, but we pay a couple $1,000s a year here in Tennessee for our property taxes, and they keep going up. And what I love is that more states are getting behind this. Why? Because it's coming from the top. It's coming from Trump's leadership. Stop taxing the people to death. Listen to this.
Are you tired of paying your property taxes? Well, lawmakers in Pennsylvania and Florida are actually pushing to abolish property taxes altogether. They say you're basically paying rent to the government. So who pays the most in government rent? Well, that would be New Jersey. And who pays the least? That's Alabama. The average level of property taxes paid in the United States was $2,969, a sizable chunk of change, but it's not just property taxes on the chopping block. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says President Trump wants to eliminate federal income taxes for anyone making less than $150,000 a year.
Woo! Man, that's
93% of Americans. Okay.
Guys, if you appreciate that and you love this good news, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support.
Jackie, property taxes. You want them gone?
Okay, I'm a proponent of this, and what I like about it is that it's innovative thinking. I think with President Trump in office for a second term and DOGE and everything he's trying to do that is different and outside of the box, now he's making other lawmakers think that way, whether you're a congressman or your senator or governor of your state, like Ron DeSantis, who is considering this. People worry that all of a sudden, if you take away the property taxes, then the municipality is going to have to tax you somewhere else to be able to make up the revenue. Some of the suggestions that are being kicked kicked around are not the obvious ones like that. And that is why I like this. Representative Russ Diamond from Pennsylvania is talking about taxing the remittances on these wealthy college endowments. We're going to talk about schools a little bit later in the program. But remember, we've said the endowments were getting taxed at zero. President Trump took it up to 1.4%. We've got a lot of problems with our education system, especially at the high level in this country. You need to be taxing those endowments more. So you're going to lower my property taxes and tax the endowments. I'm in favor of that. And that's just one innovative example. I like how they're thinking.
Taylor, are you on Team Jackie here?
50-50. Love lower.
Can't be 50-50.
Love lower taxes. Taxation is theft. Lower the taxes. Here's my worry. If I'm in Florida and I don't have income tax, the government gets its revenue from sales and property tax. So now you're cutting property and I have no income tax. Now I'm relying on sales tax. And then what? I mean, so I hear you that, look, you think you own your home, try not paying your taxes and the government owns your home. Guess what? You don't. But the alternative, if I don't live in an area with a big high endowment that can offset that loss of revenue, I don't know where else you get the revenue except for then sales
I'm gonna give
or
you
income.
A counterbalance
But
here.
what if you're doging and you find a lot of savings?
I love this one. Trickle down Doge.
What if you're doging? I just like that we say that. What if you're doging?
Look, I'm a big proponent of trickle down Doge going at the state level. But here, let me give you this. In Florida alone, the median home price 5 years ago, right before COVID, was $263,000. Today, $435,000. That's an increase in the tax base of about 65%, if you just consider things all equal. That's municipalities getting a 65% increase in their tax base, essentially, right? You can cut back some and not cut off essential services. But I do think you have to worry about the sneaking up with sales taxes.
What this also pushes in terms of cutting spending are education savings accounts, which are much cheaper than the way they run the public school system, government-run school system. You can get a good education, the fraction of the cost today. Go to that, and kids will get a better education, and the unions won't be able to hurt the children and euchre the taxpayers.
This brings it back around to Jackie's. This is innovation, and this is a good thing. It might not be the right thing to do, but it might spur on an idea that is a good thing.
It's interesting. Let's talk about it. It seems to be like there's a lot of places that they're finding money, and if they can offset taking it from you, it might not be the worst thing.
Steve Forbes, what do you think about this idea of not taxing anyone under $150,000 in income? You like that?
Well,
I know you like flat taxes.
Yes, and I'm going to send Howard a copy of my book that I wrote 20 years ago on the subject. Free of charge, assuming the ethics office allows him to keep it. But you can with the flat tax, family of four would pay no federal income tax in the first $53,000, only 17 cents, 15 cents on the dollar above that. And so I see that as a step in the right direction. And the way you do it, is you just do it. And there's no way you can reform this code, 10 million words and rising. Nobody knows what's in, including the IRS. And it's a source that brings out the worst in us. So I used to say bury it, but you can't because the EPA wouldn't allow it. It's so toxic. So I hope the president goes for a flat tax. Would be a great way station to getting people off the income tax.
From your mouth to President Trump's ears.
There we go.
Guys, do y'all hear this? So again, this is what I love. Have you ever heard this from a dang Democrat? Have you ever heard this from somebody on the left who's actually doing the necessary things to put this into a reality of no taxes for those earning less than $150,000? Regardless of what you feel, and this is what I tell everybody on the left or the right, what Trump is doing is stirring the conversation. And what he's doing is he's introducing new ideas. Now you've got Florida who's saying, hey, we're going to eliminate the property taxes. Now you got Pennsylvania. Now you got states like Tennessee who are, all these states are starting to say, you know what? We kind of do tax our people too much. They pay taxes whenever they make money. They pay taxes whenever they buy things. They pay taxes on their gas. They pay taxes on their house. They pay taxes if they sell their house. They pay taxes if they buy a car. Like everything, we're taxed to the high heavens because there's so much fraud, waste, and abuse. And now that we're finally cutting things, it's finally making sense to say, oh yeah, maybe we should cut taxes. Maybe we do have too much taxes. Imagine guys, I don't know if you know this, but there's a really rich place in the world called Dubai. It's literally got the tallest tower in the world, the Burj Khalifa. In Dubai, you want to know that they don't have income taxes over there? No income taxes whatsoever, 0%. People want to move there and live there because 0% taxes. Now, where do they make their money? They make their money on taxing the oil that comes out of Dubai. But guess what? That's because that's where most of their money can be. For us as Americans, as the United States, we've got places like Trump said, we're living under the largest oil reservoirs ever. Let's start using our resources to make money and tax those things and sell them to the rest of the world and stop taxing our people to oblivion. Like all this stuff is moving us in the right direction. And what I love is that as we keep moving forward, the Democrats are going to keep making dumb claims like, oh, they don't want to cut fraud, waste, and abuse. And then we've got our boys, our pit bulls, our ladies who are coming out and saying, you know what, we're going to do it anyway. Listen to this.
Mr. Senator, is the government the same size now as it was in 1970? Is it not too big?
Well, let me put it this way, Stuart. Since 2019, America's population is up 2%. Our spending is up 55%. The president of the teacher union that the clip of which you just showed, no disrespect, but he must think there's an award for being stupid. Either that or he's intentionally misleading the American people. Every fair-minded person in America who has a brain above a single-cell organism understands that the federal budget is chock full of spending porn. President Trump ran on a platform of scrubbing the budget, and that's what he's doing. He's scrubbing the budget, and it's long overdue.
Mr. Senator, you talked to President Trump and Vice President Vance publicly and privately.
Right.
You don't think they're ready to focus on the debt crisis. So do you think we've got a debt bomb coming?
Well, we will if we allow government to default. I've talked to the president and the vice president a number of times privately about it. It's on their list of things to address, but it's not at the top of their list. First, we had to keep government open. We're going to do that. The Democrats will vote tonight to do it. Senator Schumer is allowing them to do it. Senator Schumer never makes the same mistake twice. He makes it 5 or 6 times just to make sure he got it right. But this time, I have to give Chuck credit. He's doing the right thing. Once we get past that, we're going to pass a reconciliation bill to redesign the tax code so it'll look like somebody designed it on purpose. And then we'll focus on the debt ceiling. I don't think we have to worry about it between May or June. But Senator Thune asked me to sort of, along with some other senators, take the lead and talk to the president. And I have talked to the president. I asked him a question in one of our last meetings with other senators there, and he spoke for 20 minutes on the subject, and he was splendid in his evasiveness. And what that told me was he's not ready to make a decision.
But Trump is focused on issues that voters want him to focus on, whether it's the border or inflation. He's focused. That's why he's popular. He's doing what voters wanted him to do, right?
Yes. And of the things you listed, Stu, inflation is the most important. That's what most moms and dads worry about at night when they lie down and sleep and can't. High prices. We can get those high prices down, but we've got to do 3 things. Number 1, we've got to reduce our spending. Number 2, we've got to get rid of rules and regulations, deregulate the economy. And number 3, I alluded to it, we have to rewrite the tax code, lower taxes, and end up with a tax code that looks like somebody designed it on purpose. I think we can do that over the next 6 months, and if we do that, you'll see prices come down.
We're waiting for it. Senator John.
Guys, I told you, I'm telling you, we've got the right people in place, and I told you earlier, I've got to show you this, guys, because accountability to me is one of the most important things ever. The Senate divides as Senator Rand Paul put a bill forward to cut foreign aid. All the DOGE stuff that we have found, all the wasteful spending overseas, it's not officially cut. They've stopped it, but you have to make it a law in order to officially cut that wasteful spending, because if not, it'll just reinstate next year, or unless it's redone with the budget reconciliation. Well, Senator Rand Paul said, you know what, why don't we just make it a law that all the DOGE cuts that we found for the foreign aid, let's just go ahead and remove them all. Well, 27 Republicans voted yes, and these are the names, and these are names that we're familiar with, guys. Cruz, you've got Hawley, you've got, just like we saw, Kennedy, Tuberville. But then there's 26 Republicans who voted against codifying the DOGE foreign aid spending cuts into law. Lindsey Graham, wow, what a surprise there. Cassidy, Collins, you've got McCormick, McConnell, Mullen, Murkowski, Thune, which is weird, leader of the Senate. But all these people, these are the names of the ones that decided, hey, let's not just codify these DOGE cuts. Let's just put them on temporary pause. This is accountability, guys. If you live in one of these states with one of these people, then these people need to hear from you over what the heck is going on with our money being sent overseas when we can't even take care of our seniors and make sure that they have the money that they need when it comes to their daily lives. But again, too, lots of things are changing, guys. And what I love is that it's just adding. Listen to this.
Want to see winning in action? Take a look at your screen. That is President Trump inside the DOJ headquarters. I can see backflips in Merrick Garland's mind right now. Dancing to the YF, dancing. Donald Trump, all phony, now debunked dossier for phony FISA warrants. They infiltrated his first administration. They created the Russia hoax that went on for years, 3 years, out of thin air. They had their allies in the state-run legacy media mob peddle all these lies and conspiracy theories. They raided his house while ignoring all the top-secret classified information that both Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton had. They cooked up charges against him. They coordinated with local DAs to do the same. They shielded his political opponents from prosecution. They corrupted our justice system. They weaponized our system. They shredded our Constitution in the process. The concept of equal justice under the law, equal application of our laws no longer existed. They politicized, they weaponized our FBI, our intelligence community. They destroyed their credibility in the process. And now, a vindicated President Trump is now dancing in their office and proclaiming the end of American people. Hopefully, the big win today for the president. There will be no Schumer shutdown. Democrats, they lost again. Trump's spending bill got over the 60-vote threshold in the U.S. Senate, thanks to Majority Leader Thune, who worked very hard behind the scenes to make it happen. That easily passed earlier tonight. Now, of course, the Democrats were threatening to block the bill, force a government shutdown. Chuck Schumer finally surrendered and helped get it across the finish line. The Schumer shutdown, we can say tonight, is officially the Schumer surrender. And this morning, President Trump actually praised Schumer's courage. Not exactly sure he did it out of courage. It's safe to say that Schumer's courage was more likely political expediency, and it is not going over well with the radical left Democratic Party, but he is on record now for decades condemning government shutdowns. Even Schumer's one-time BFF, fellow Biden backstabber, Nancy Pelosi, is blasting the surrender Schumer and accusing him of buying into a false choice. Other Democrats were apoplectic as their party is now descending into complete and utter unmitigated chaos. Take a look.
Chuck Schumer, I guess the Senate Democratic leader, your senator, said at this meeting that he is going to vote for cloture. He is going to vote to allow there to be a simple majority vote. You think that's wrong?
I believe that's a tremendous mistake.
In this moment, we need to be resolute. We need clarity
And we need conviction, and we need unity. You need to hold the line in the face of this hostile government takeover and stand in the gap. Everything is on the line, so you must do everything. Do not cede our leverage in this moment.
The Democrats in the Senate should vote it down. We should not give a blank check to Elon Musk or President Trump.
In this parlor game here about, most American people, they can't name us. They don't know who Chuck Schumer is, but they do know what this administration and Elon Musk and the GOP are planning for them.
Well, I can speak with confidence that the Schumer cancellation countdown clock is officially ticking. The era of circling the wagons at the Democratic Party is now officially over. Trump has totally defeated all of them. Their spirits are clearly broken. They are completely lost. In fact, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries doesn't seem to know what to do, what to say. Couldn't even take a position on Schumer today. Take a look.
Senator Chuck Schumer is from your state. He clearly has a different view of this than you. He is not saying let's go back to the negotiating table. He's saying let's take this vote. So have you lost confidence in him, the fact that you guys see this so differently?
Next question. I'm not afraid about anything. Anything.
You went to another question.
Anything.
When asked
Isn't it a yes or no question?
I said I was very clear that we look forward to working with every single one of our Senate Democratic colleagues. Every single one of them. Push back against the Trump administration. Every single one.
If you just said yes to having confidence in him, this would go away in many ways.
Do you think that this is what the American people care about right now?
Isn't that the guy that said earlier in the week that the Republicans were on the run, that they were scared of him? Well, so after tonight's surrender on the budget battle, what will Democrats do next? Will there be more screaming and yelling and singing at press conferences in D.C.? Will they spew even more Hitler comparisons? Are they going to tell us that the sky is falling yet again because we're cutting out waste, fraud, and abuse? Probably, in all likelihood. And according to reports, they are now planning to take this show on the road, and they want to have town halls in Republican districts across the country. You may want to go. Might be entertaining. You might have a few questions for them. I would ask that you not be like them and be polite, but beware if you are in a conservative area of the country, which is most of the country, a radical Democrat might be coming to a venue near you to spread their message in support of men and their right to play women's sports, for open borders forever with no deportations, even for violent criminals. They might be spreading the gospel of wasting hundreds of billions of dollars on, the Green New Deal, woke, DEI, transgender radicalism abroad. And of course, they will share a message and the gospel of extreme hatred for all things Donald Trump and Elon Musk. That's about all this party represents at this moment in time. In the meantime, Republicans, led by President Trump, they will continue to work hard for you, the American people. They will work hard to protect your freedoms. They want to restore law and order and safety and security. They want to fix this broken economy they inherited. They want to reduce regulations and being good stewards of your hard-earned tax dollars. And yes, restore the FBI to what it once was, the premier law enforcement agency in the entire world. Restore our intel community to what they used to be, the premier intelligence gathering agencies in the entire world. And the DOJ will not be weaponized any longer. Here with reaction.
Guys, I'm so excited about that, guys. No more lawfare. No more weaponization of government. We're not a banana republic. Thank you so much, Ronald Zimmerman, for the super chat. Let's go. I want to say thank you to everybody who's watching, guys. Thank you for your support. If you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, we really appreciate your support. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Let us take care of you every day with the top news. Guys, we are so thankful for your support. Don't forget, the link is in the description for our Real American t-shirts, guys. These are on sale right now. Pre-order for just a couple more days. These are premium t-shirts, premium printed. Guys, super soft. These are just such amazing products, and I hope that you get you one, guys. Members get 15% off. Just want to say thank you to everybody who's supporting the channel. We're so glad that we can continue growing this community. We can continue growing our family, our True Life News family. And guys, it's all because of you. We're going to keep pushing the breaking news, keep pushing the top news, serving you every day, Monday through Friday, 2 shows a day, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. Want to just thank everybody who supports us through sharing these videos, guys, liking these videos. It means the world to me and my family, and we just want to continue making sure, guys, it's always about the truth, always about the truth. Want to welcome Luis Santiago. Welcome to the family. Let's go. Y'all show Luis some love in the chat. We love you all, guys. Appreciate you so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.